Welcome to On Fire for Life. I am super excited to roll week 1 out to you. Our theme this week is learning to love. And one of the first scriptures that came to mind and was the scripture about learning to love God, heart, mind, body, and soul. As I wrote that down in my journal, I also thought about another scripture where God calls us to love our neighbor as ourself. And as I sort of percolated on that idea and thought about that more and more over the course of several months, it occurred to me that it's very hard to love another person if you don't love yourself. Hence, learning to love. Learning to love yourself so that you can truly love others as you love yourself. We don't realize a lot of times that when we have things going on internally with us, we have a lot of negative self-talk, and we have a lot of things that we're battling, that many times in our relationships, we almost mirror that. So then it becomes sort of almost like a cycle for us, where we're giving out negative energy and it's coming right back at us. And so part of our goal, and especially in this week, is learning how to love ourselves. So you're going to be sitting with a couple of different activities, really looking back at your life, and then also working on some positive motivation that you can use to combat when that negative self-talk comes in. I was thinking today, in fact, I was talking with a student who I asked him, he had to write a personal narrative. So I asked him to tell me about an event that happened in his life that was either a good event or a bad event. And so he talked to me about the relationship between he and his brother. And he started off telling me about how his brother, growing up, he and his brother were really close and they did a lot of fun things together. But then he went into how angry they are with one another now and how poorly they treat each other. He talked about how we kind of do evil things to one another, and it's like, I think he said something on the fact like, he does something evil to me and I try to do something even more evil back. And so as he was talking more and more about how angry they are with one another, he also started talking about how he wants to get back to a relationship where they can rely on one another. And these are high school students. So he talked about how his brother wants to go to the NFL and how he wants to be an anesthesiologist. Huge, tremendous goals. And so we also worked on that piece as well. But back to the story. So when he finished talking through everything, I stopped him and I asked him if he thought, I asked him to tell me about a good time in his life with his brother, to really give me some details about that. And so he thought a little bit more and he said, when we went to my auntie's house, we really had so much fun. We played with my cousin there, we watched TV, my auntie baked with us, we would go outside and go to the park and swing and throw the football around. And as he was talking about those memories, he really began to become alive. And he was really excited about those moments in his life. And so I asked him if he thought he could sit down with his brother and recall that memory, recall that time in their life, and ask his brother if they could maybe do one of those activities once a week with one another. Put things to the side, go play football at the park, go bake, find a favorite recipe, something like that. And he didn't know if he could sit down and talk with them. because he wasn't sure that his brother would be willing to listen. So then I suggested that he write a letter. And I asked him if he thought he could write a letter, really recalling those positive moments in their life and that time where they were really connected with one another. And then explain to him why it was so important to him that they have that connection again. And he was like, yeah, Miss Franca, I think I can do that. I think I can make that happen. And I said, I'm so excited for that. And when you decide to do that, you'll have to let me know how it turns out. I do have to be honest with you. There's a good chance that your brother, no matter what you say, no matter what you write, could not be willing to put aside all of the anger at this point. But by extending the olive branch, by being sort of the more compassionate and understanding person, by trying, you don't know how he might receive it. He may say, you know what, I've been wanting this for so long too. And so I did caution him to be prepared in case his brother says, no, this isn't happening, this isn't what I want. Or even if his brother doesn't say anything, but then his actions show something otherwise. But I did also encourage him to really take the time to write that letter, give it to his brother, and hope for the best. For this segment, I'm also going to add pray for the best. I think it's so important when we are trying to repair severely damaged relationships that we really give it to God and that we ask Him to take care of it for us and that we trust that He does. And it's been my experience really over my lifetime, but especially in these last 3 years, that I see that when I give something to God, He does it on His own time, but really there's nothing that I have to do. Eventually, whatever it is that I've asked for or waited on either has come to me, and it's come to me way, way more than I could have ever expected, or I've been able to move on from it. And the peace that I have with that is amazing. So when you're learning to love yourself, there are a lot of sort of ups and downs and trial and error and things that you have to do. But I'm hoping this week, as you go through the 4 activities for heart, mind, body, and soul, that you do begin to find more love in your life. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Get strong.